Hello and welcome to livealittlehigher.com. Today we continue with our book, The Hasidic Approach to Joy by Rabbi Shlomo Majewski, in which we are beginning chapter 12, and it's called A Lighting Rod to the Spiritual Realms. Last week, just to give you a quick reminder, we were speaking about how joy can really break every barrier. How when we are really giving of ourselves to others and we are selfless, we are really truly happy people. That the problem with not being able to be happy is when we are too self-centered and too much into ourselves. We're thinking too much about ourselves and we're not thinking enough about others. And this is really one of the biggest components of not being happy. So today, we're gonna talk about a different concept. It talks about the positive potential of Simha is highlighted by the Maggid of Mesrich in his interpretation of the teaching in their Pirkei Avot, where it says, know what is above you. And literally the Mishnah is teaching us always to be conscious that allegorically speaking, in the spiritual realms there exists an eye that sees everything we do, an ear that hears everything we say, and a hand that records everything that takes place. This concept was very important for people to understand in the olden days. Today it's very easy to understand because we see today that there's cameras all over the place, like everything is recorded. So when we see that everything can be seen from somewhere else, then we can really come to connect to this thought that the Maggid of Mesrich reminded the Jewish people about what the Pirkei Avot has to say. And what he's trying to tell us from here is that that each of us influences what goes on in the spiritual realms. What happens to us really comes from us. Whatever is going up in the spiritual realms is not a consequence of the spiritual realms. Really, it's a consequence of the physical realms. Whatever we do in this world causes an effect up in the spiritual worlds. And there is a concept in the Tanya by the Alter Rebbe in Hasidut that talks about the feminine waters and the masculine waters. And the feminine waters are the waters that are down in this world, in the earthly world. So if we see how this works, when there's a change of atmosphere or pressure or temperature, the water, for example, in a river or in the ocean will evaporate and will condense itself and it will go up to the sky. And then it will evaporate and it will become clouds. And also then it will condense and then the rain will come down into this world. So actually the rain that comes down to this world is not a product of heaven. It's really a product of ourselves. Whatever is going down here, it's what elicits the rain to come down. And that's why God didn't create rain. He created rain, but he made the man pray for it because it's something that we have to pray for. And this concept really connects to every concept in our lives. We're really the architects of our lives. Whatever is going on in our lives is a mirror image of our behavior in this world. So when we are compassionate, we are eliciting compassion in the upper realms, and then compassion comes to us. Hashem sends us compassion. If we're kind to other people, then we're eliciting kindness from the upper realms, and this is gonna come down to us in kindness that God does for us. But in the other way, it also is true. If we are judgmental people, if we're not kind, if we are thieves, God forbid, if we do lashon hara, if we speak evil about other people, if we're not kind, then all this energy that we're producing in our lives goes up to heaven, and this is what the upper realms will be for us, and that's what comes down for us also. So we have to be very careful in the way we think, the way we speak, the way we act, because this is what brings what will come to us. We ourselves create our own reality. We are the creators of our own reality. So what it's telling us here, the Magid of Maastricht, is that that this concept also has a deeper dimension. When we are speaking of a mirror and a person, we're talking about two separate entities. One merely reflects the other. With regard to the spiritual and the physical, it is not that the spiritual realm is one form of existence and the physical realm another form of existence, with God creating them to correspond to each other. In this instance, the two are more closely related. Our material existence is merely an extension of our spiritual existence. So there's a parallel world. We think this is it. Down here, this is what we have. This is it. There's no consequences to our actions. But in reality, everything we do does have a consequence. And we are just living the consequence of our actions. That's what we're living. So if you want kindness in your life, then be kinder. I remember a story of Rabbi Manis Friedman that he made a retreat, and this lady came to the retreat and she was telling him how she was not so kind, and she came to the retreat because she wanted to really be a kind person and a loving person. And at that moment they were serving lunch, and he said to her, you know what, could you help me serve the water? I would really appreciate it. And she says, oh, you're crazy. I didn't pay all this money to come to this retreat for you to put me to serve water. And he looked at her and he says, but you told me you want to be kind. I'm just giving you the opportunity to be kind. To be kind is just to take the opportunity and be kind. You don't have to be extra special or do anything out of this world. You just have to act according to kindness. If you want to be loving, you just have to be loving. If you want to be merciful, then connect to your merciful part. When someone is not so nice to you and it's hard for you to have a relationship with that person, it doesn't mean you have to have a relationship with them, but instead of being angry at them and resentful, you can connect to mercy. You can look at that person's life and see how hard their life has been, and how if you would be in their shoes, maybe you would be even worse than them, and you connect to that merciful part of yourself, and then you're not going to be upset at that person anymore. You're just going to feel mercy for them. You're going to feel compassion. So this is the way in which really the world works, and when we understand these concepts and we live through them, then we're going to really live a much happier life. Because you know what? It's important to know. It's important to understand how the world works. When you understand, when you have a certain sense of understanding, then you can really connect to the good part of it. And while you're connecting to the good part of it, then you're going to be showered with goodness, because this is the way it works. If you're always smiling at people and you're being kind to people and you have nice things to say about people and you open the door for the old lady, or you help her with her bags and you do all these things, then this is what is going to be reflected towards you. It's going to be a mirror image of yourself. Your life is going to be a mirror of you. This is what you're going to encounter. You're going to encounter people who are going to be helpful towards you, nice to you, because it's a mirror. So just do the experiment, try to do it, and you'll see how your life will completely change. So the Magid of Maastricht mentioned above this idea of to know that what is above us, and the goings on the spiritual realm is from you. It's dependent on your conduct, and we mortals determine the nature of the influences active in the spiritual realm. So why does man have this potential? Because man was created in the image of God. God created us in his image. And what does it mean? It means that God created us in a... We cannot talk about a corporeal image, because we cannot give a corporeal image to Hashem, because he's infinite. But in his attributes, in the way he behaves, with mercy, with kindness, with boundaries, with mercy, with netzach, endurance, with humility, with unity, with dignity. All these attributes of Hashem, He imbued in us. And we have the capacity to live up to them, to be able to bring them into the world through our actions. So what this means is that we, as human beings, have the capacity to outgrow our negative tendencies and to be masters of our behavior. And when we understand what is the right behavior and the way we should be in this world, and to act accordingly and similarly of how Hashem is with us, then we will be able to live a godly life and a resemblance of Hashem in this world. We're going to be able to reveal God in our actions. So this is basically what Rabbi Majewski is telling us today, and how powerful we are in the effects of the spiritual realm, and how careful we should be with what we do and what we think and what we say, and always try to be positive, and be positive towards others and towards ourselves too, and towards Hashem. And in this way, we will be able to bring down all the goodness that Hashem has for us. So I want to wish you a good week, a healthy week, and a very happy week, and live a little higher. Thank you.